What's going on, everybody? How you guys doing? Welcome to another exciting podcast. We're gonna have Joe on here in just a little bit, um, but before I get into the podcast here, because this is gonna be a really good one. For a long time, I've been wanting to kind of come up with a formula to to show you really how much money you're making as a profit and how much you're putting back into your business. Basically, how much does it cost to run your business? I mean, what's the minimum cost that you need to make a certain amount a year? This is just a formula, so you can use this formula for whatever you want. Whatever you want to shoot for. If you're shooting for 100 grand, you're shooting for 150, you're shooting for 300 grand. Well, this formula will help you understand uh, how to get that, how to achieve that. So I've been wanting to do this for a long time, and I don't think people knew enough. PDR technicians knew enough about where they stand. Sure, they say they put a number out there, but they don't know why they wanted to make a certain amount. So this is subjective, far as like how much money you need to make a living. So here's Joe right here. So what's up, Joe?
Hey, what's going on, Mike?
How you doing, dude?
Good, man. You have a good day?
I've been doing good, man. I was just kind of talking about what our podcast is going to be about, and I'm going to make a little bit of announcement for two guys who are kind of been down and out in the industry. So a lot of people, I think they know them. So I wanted to kind of put a word out there. So if you don't mind, Joe, I'll go ahead and do that, and then we'll jump into our podcast. Okay.
Absolutely.
So, and anyways, we'll get to your comments in a little bit. I really think this is going to be a super awesome podcast, but more importantly, let's talk about, I was, brought to my attention that, and I feel really bad because I don't go on Facebook a lot, Joe, like Facebook personal, and go look and scroll and stuff like that. And, so I've been out of the loop on who's down and out and like who has things. So it's two people who got sick. Michael Biggs from Anson, he's one of the guys that will bring the tools to you. He's he's out there in the field, doing that, and he got sick. He got some cancer.
Oh my goodness!
He hasn't worked much last year, and it's been really, really hard for him. All right, and another person, Robert Castillo's. So something has happened to him. They don't know exactly what, but it's like he can't walk very well or at all.
Yes.
And he's having a hell of a time.
Okay.
And I don't know if they have insurance or not. It doesn't sound like they do. Okay. Yep. But let's put it this way here. Even if they do, Anson is asking if you guys can, and anybody out there, you listeners can, when you come to MTE, bring cash, and they're going to have a raffle, and that raffle is going to include a minimum of $30,000 of tools giveaways. Okay, so here's some of the stuff. Okay, so if you have a $25 ticket, okay, that gets you in. All right. If you do $100, you'll get 5 tickets. Okay. So bring cash for the MTE, because the main thing is, ladies and gentlemen, if you bring cash, they can give debit cards to these guys, right? Tax-free, don't have to worry about it, right? But when you do set up a GoFundMe thing, that gets taxed to whoever's setting it up. And that's just not good. I mean, it should all go to the people. So
yeah, no kidding.
The people who need it. So Mary and I are going to donate a bunch of, some subscriptions to Dent Trainer. But here's the other people who are giving some stuff away. So you've got Anson themselves, Carbon Tech, Stucky, Dent Trainer, obviously, Dent Reaper, Joe Stonish, David Detlaf, Willie Quick Tools, A1 Tools, Unlimited Dent, Get a Grip, Cam Auto, Perfect Pull, Dent Craft, VIP. So pretty much all the major players out there who are going to be giving away tools. It's going to a great cause. So ladies and gentlemen, if you could, get in touch with Christina or Craig at Anson. They'll tell you how you can do it. Maybe you don't want to wait. Maybe you can't go to MTE, but you'd like to help be a part of that. And you guys know that every once in a while, Joe and I will come on here and talk about this. So if you guys can just help out, that would be just phenomenal. So, but you can do that in person at MTE, but you can also get in touch with Christina and Craig. It's basically, you can send a Visa card if you wanted to, and do it that way. So, hats
Okay.
off to everybody over there. And Joe, Mike Biggs and Robert Castillo. I really hope both of you have a speedy recovery, and I hope it gets well for you, especially you, Robert. I know you're going through some hard times right now. So, okay,
you guys hang in there.
So, I don't mean to go into a moment, but I mean, shoot, man, that's reality, man. That's life. I mean, it could happen to any of us, dude.
That's
right?
absolutely. You're absolutely right, Mike. We got to support, and we have such a great community at PDR. You know, we help each other out. So now you mentioned, so they prefer in person at the raffle at MTE, but for those who aren't going to make it to MTE, you mentioned a Visa card.
Yeah,
like a gift card.
Yeah.
And where do we send that to?
I don't have the information. I'm sure Craig and Christina
Get in touch with Anson.
Getting in touch with Anson, and they'll be able to direct you to that. So, yeah. So if you guys have any questions too, you can reach out to me as well, and I will point you in the right direction. But if you don't know Craig or Christina, or talk to Cowboy Vinny too over there. I'm sure he'll direct you to what's going on there. Okay.
Through Facebook or directly
Facebook,
to their website?
I'd probably, honestly, I'm assuming that if you go to their website, right, you could probably get a hold of them, ansonpdr.com, right, and just go there and give them a shout out, dude. So, so let's go, man. So Martin, seeing you here, evening, guys. All right, man, cool, good deal. I know we did a little bit earlier here. So, oh, by the way, we are going to do a podcast for the guys over in the UK. Probably on a Saturday, or maybe a little bit earlier during the day, so we can early in the morning, so they can get on there. We like to put them on there as well. So, lots to say here. So, let's talk about our main topic here. Ladies and gentlemen, pay attention to this one. This one's freaking like this is something that's going to help you really figure out measuring where you were supposed to be. Joe, you looked at it, right? You saw what I was talking about earlier.
Yeah. You're talking about the our topic for today.
Yep. That's
the ultimate guide to I just printed it out. So yeah, I think we we can kind of go through this in order of how you want to do it, man.
Well, I got some slides, man. So let me add it right here, dude. Okay. So the ultimate guide to PDR pricing. Now, the reason why we came up with this is people. I believe there's too many people who start a business and they have no idea like what they should set their price structure at, right? And that has a lot to do with your expenses as well. I mean, if you don't have any expenses, no kids, no house, no freaking car, I mean, I don't see how it's possible, but I'm just saying, if you're starting a business, it gets expensive because you got to pay for the training that you did. You got to pay whatever bills you have, right? And we forget about all the bills that we have, like at joining our business and at home, and then the children, the kids we put into school, the college funds, the retirement funds. And I left a lot of that out. I'm just trying to give you guys an idea of where you're supposed to be, or where you should be, or it would be advisable of what you think you should be, your prices should be. Per job. Let's break it down really easy. Let's do it per job. That's not counting the price guide system that we implement later on. Okay. It depends on which ones you want to use. But let's break it down, dude. Okay. So, was good. We got Australia, you got UK, I think there, dude. So we got, what's up, Jeremy? Okay, cool. Jeremy, this is going to be really good for you as well. Okay. So let's get into it. Joe, you want to add anything to this that we're talking?
Well, I briefly ran through the through your topics that you sent through, and you mentioned, the cost of doing business, basically. So in that is service cost. It's common for a real business, even though we're just Dent guys. Us one, small timer, one man operations. We get to where we minimize what we offer, and I think I used to be guilty of that a lot. But there is such a thing as a service cost. Whether you're mobile or you're brick and mortar, you have these costs to go with, and you compiled a lot of those, like you mentioned, Mike. But I would say, part of what I want in my service cost, is growth, the opportunity for growth. And that could mean, right away. I think a lot of us, in the business, we think of growth as gaining more technicians on board, and a big building, and a bigger business. I see growth as my own personal growth, both in PDR and the technical side of things. Every day I'm getting better. I'm learning more and more, but also growth in your career too, not just in the PDR technical skills, but you know, as we get deeper into this, as we get paid better to do better, higher level work, Mike, we are also taking the whole industry to another level, including with ideas and equipment, and we bring that to the table. The high level technicians, the ones who are getting paid well because they do great work, they are high achievers, and they're breaking us into new territory, new ground, and that's what I mean by growth. I hope that didn't sound too convoluted.
I think this is great. This is gonna be a good foundation right here. I think it's gonna be an eye opener for people to see this, because they're gonna go, I never thought about it, breaking it down into that point. And then what you're saying, Joe, just adds to that, right? Now you know where you're at, right? Where you are, shall I say, where you're going to be after we discuss this, right? And then we're going to open up to discussions. Let's see what these people say, right? And what's your tactic after that? What is your strategy after that for growing your business, right? So if you don't mind, Joe, I'll break it down a little bit, okay?
Yes.
So that is the thing. So why do you need to know? So you need to know and be aware why you charge what you charge. So that's obviously that's a big one, right? Be aware of the value of your service is great, but knowing why is better. So another thing is your PDR business will grow more rapidly when you completely understand your cost per job. So let's take a look at that right now. This is a lot to read right here, ladies and gentlemen. So hopefully this, oops, let me go back this way. So expense calculation. So if I want to make $150K a year, working 6 days a week, Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., I'll need to divide the total monthly expenses by the number of jobs I expect to complete in a month. We'll shoot for 15 jobs a week in just a bit. So we'll put that in there. Okay. So that's what I'm thinking. 15 jobs a week. Okay. So my expenses right now, and this is subjective for anybody, and I left a lot more expenses out, but I'm just trying to make it easy. I don't want to overwhelm you with all these other expenses, but let's just put some of the major ones in. Your car, let's say $350. Your rent or mortgage, $2,200. Now that's subjective as well. It depends on where you live. Okay. Health insurance. I have a family of 5. Right. My health insurance is actually higher than that, but I put, like, let's just say $1,200. So, all right. Food, $1,000 a month. Uniforms, $150. That could be something else too as well. Gas, $1,000. We all drive around a lot. Gas has been expensive, so it depends on where you are and how much you travel. Car insurance, $60 a month. Us older guys are much cheaper than you younger guys. So again, I think I'm hitting in the middle. Tools, $250. Shoot, why is this thing? This thing's right in the middle of my friggin' thing. It won't go away. Oh, there it goes. So total monthly expenses, $6,110. Okay. So next, let's determine the number of work hours you have in a week. So you work Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., which is a total of 9 hours per day. You also work on Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. for a total of 4 hours. That's a total of 9 times 5 plus 4 equals 49 work hours in a week. So you follow me so far, Joe?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Everybody's following me so far, right? Okay.
Yes. Dent guy math.
Okay. So average cost per job. So let's say I want to make 150K a year. So if you're just joining me, working 6 days a week, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. So since you want to make 150K per year and there are 52 weeks in a week, you need to make $150,000 in 52 weeks equals, that's divided by 52, sorry. $150,000 divided by 52 weeks equals $28.85 per week. Now, to determine your average cost per job, divide your total monthly expenses by the number of jobs you expect to complete in a month. Let's assume you can complete 15 jobs per week, as I mentioned, which is about 60 jobs per month. In that case, your average cost per job would be $6,110 divided by 60 equals $101.83. Now, I'm not done yet. That's not your average yet, okay? So to make $2,885 per week, you would need to charge $28.85 divided by 15 equals $192 per job. This means that you would need to charge $192 minus $101.83 for your profit and $90.17 per job to cover your expenses and make your desired income. Does that make sense to you guys?
Yes.
Okay. So I think a lot of people forget about, well, I'm making a gross net, but what goes back into your expenses and what is left over? So technically, a lot of it's not as left over as a lot of people you would think. Now, this is the same calculation. You can change it to 200,000, 300,000, 75,000. Some of you guys are new techs and going, fudge, 150 grand. I'm retiring. Well, I mean, obviously the more successful you get, more likely the higher of your cost is, right? Of your overhead or whatever you do. You get a family, you get kids, all that stuff starts going up. So since you want to make 150 grand, right? In 52 weeks, you need to make 150, blah, blah. We covered that. So to determine your average cost per job, divide your total monthly expenses by the number of jobs you expect to complete in a month. Let's assume you complete, I think I already covered that. Sorry, guys. So this means, and I put that there. So yeah, I pretty much covered it. This has doubled my sheet here. So sorry. Joe, do you have anything to add to that? This is I didn't fart around too much, dude, but this is
that's
breaking it down.
Very thorough, actually. It's a lot of words and a lot of numbers for a Dent guy brain, and I'm talking about me, not our audience. So it makes sense, though, Mike. So I think the gist of this is that when we see that dent, and we know we could fix that in a brief amount of time, whatever brief means, and we're eager to get the job, we should remember all these expenses, these additional expenses before we just throw out a number, right?
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. You gotta know where you hang as your expenses. That's why I'm saying, like, I was like, how can you charge $75 for a ding or a dent on a car when you have expenses like that? And that's not even that I have way more expenses than that, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. I'm going to be really transparent. Okay.
Yeah.
I have way more. I mentioned, any of the stuff, other extra stuff I have, my insurance is more than that, dude. I need to make way more than that per ticket. Okay. So I'm just trying to help people understand that you can't just shoot a number because it looks good and it feels good and it's way better than your last job flipping burgers. I'm telling you that you really have to understand and think like a professional business person and sit down where you stand and understand. Now you know why you use a price guide system to sustain the cost of your business. So it just makes more sense now that you know where you stand. now you have goals, right? Now you know where you can grow and how you can grow. So it's just kind of gives some really good insight about, how you can determine your cost.
Absolutely. I think everybody that'll be everybody's homework assignment. You guys, all of us, we can write down those expenses. And like I said, the expenses don't stop there because that's just to pay the bills, right? But obviously we want growth. So, we have to factor that in as well. And growth means different things, as I mentioned before, to whomever you're talking to. But um, I think that what comes to mind is, like you said, the pricing guide. So we have a structure in order to present to keep that consistent, right? So the pricing guide plus another metric would be, like you mentioned already, to consider your average price per ticket. So what do you recommend the audience do to keep tabs on that? I mean, it's as simple as, if you're using Mobile Tech RX, you can see what you did last month, right? Your total, and right under the total you did for December, it'll say the number of invoices. So you take your number of invoices. If you did, 20 invoices, and you divide the big number at the top by 20, right? And so whatever that number is, that's your average per ticket. Now, I guess it's going to vary if you're retail only and you're doing one car most of the time on each ticket, or if you're, some guys will do wholesale and do like 10 cars on one ticket. But it kind of gives you an idea of how to price
Yeah.
when you pay attention to that.
Well, I think, yeah, it kind of puts you in a, I don't say it forces you, but it definitely will. It brings it to your attention that, say, okay, I'm going to use Mobile Tech RX or whatever platform. I'm not trying to just favor one. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, there's other ones you could use, what, QuickBooks, or now I guess Square has something similar to that. And I think Michael, there's another guy named Michael that has an app like that. So I'm not
Yes,
favoring anything.
Dentmate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
DentMate.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, we're not endorsed by any of these. It's just that Mobile Tech was the first one that I know of, and that's what we were using from way back when. But I mean, pen and paper too, man. I mean, you can write it down and do the math. But I think, getting back to it, the reason why it's important is because it kind of tells you, like, you can use that as a metric. It tells you that, like, if my average number per ticket is going low, maybe I'm not pricing enough. If in relation to the amount of days that I pushed, I'll give you some figures here. I'm just going to be honest, and at the risk of embarrassing myself, because I don't work a lot, Mike. I do well per job because I use my pricing guide and more religiously than I ever have
Yeah, but
for the
there's a difference, Joe, between you, right, and the guy who out there that doesn't. He's not aware. He's just going with the flow and
yeah.
charging. He's not consistent, or she's not consistent at all. You know what I mean? You are. I mean, there's a big difference with that. But go on, Joe.
Well, and it's not. I don't think there's any wrong way to do it. I just want to put a
No.
disclaimer out there. If they feel that their only chance of being successful with their PDR business is to lowball and just beat everybody else's price and be busy, 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 because it makes them forget about the fear of losing opportunities, and they just want to grind their fingers down to the bone fixing dents, do it.
Well,
If that's what works for
busy.
you,
That's
do
right.
it.
And
There's no
busy ain't
wrong.
productive, though, dude. You know what I
That's
mean?
right. That's right. I stopped doing that about 4 years ago, when I stopped doing mostly wholesale. And that was, it was partly, it was mostly because I raised my prices in wholesale, and then management changes came and they didn't understand the difference in quality. Perhaps I could have done a better job of communicating that to the new, clientele, basically, that at the dealerships. But I lost that. And so guess what? I was scrambling to do retail, but I knew that if I charged what my competitors were charging, which was a low ball price, I none of it was going to work. I wouldn't be able to keep my lifestyle. I wouldn't be able to keep my house, but mostly, forget about me and my personal expense needs, for a minute. Mostly, Mike, I wasn't going to be able to do the kind of work that I love to do. Yes, I take pride in my work. I don't think that makes me a better person by any means, but I love what I do, and I've learned to love it even more as a result of as I charge more in relation to the difficulty of each repair. I'm able to do a really, really fine job for the people who really care about that. And again, not everybody cares about that. That's not who I'm serving. I know who my customer
Right.
is, and you
Right.
mentioned that in your printouts here, that part of the battle is knowing whom you're serving, you know, uh, because yes, it's important to be able to pay the bills and make our expenses, whatever those expenses are, personal as well as business, but we need to also understand who we're serving first, because if I'm trying to make the kind of per ticket dollar amount that I like making, and I'm trying to do that with the low end type of customers, or the high volume low paying customers, it's going to be really tough to do that.
Yeah. I think if you have a purpose, right? And like beyond, like you can go through the motions for, I think, as a new tech, you go through the motions, you're excited, you're making really good money. Whether you save that money or you invest that money or whatnot, that's your business. But I think if you don't have purpose and later on focus about where your long-term goal is, what you want to do, there's a couple of things that happen, right? Your business goes down, or you lose motivation, you hate your job, something just doesn't work. There's always something that falls apart when you lose that focus and don't understand where your business stands. There's a couple times through my career through that happened to me. So, you know, um, money was good, but I'm gonna be quite honest too. I mean, I mismanaged some of this stuff, dude. I think a majority of PDR techs who make the kind of income we do, a lot of them can mismanage their money, and it does happen very often, a lot. And this is one of the purposes here of this. Somebody might be watching this PDR tech, might be watching this, going, "Man, I never really broke down my stuff like this. I should raise my prices, because even if I want to be the lowest guy out there, I can't afford it. Not at this rate. I can't. In 2 years, I can't keep charging the same amount, and my expenses are keep going up." You see what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter. If you want to keep your prices the same, everything else doesn't wait for that, dude. It's going up. So
Right.
that's another purpose, the reason why. So your ticket dollar would go lower, right? If you don't raise it up with the expenses. So, I mean, it just gives another idea. If anything, not purposely you're trying to be the lowest person, but be consciously aware that where you
Yeah.
stand and how you can come up with a formula to make yourself more money. And yeah, be a, be a be kind of a be more aware. That's what I'm saying.
Well, yeah. Yeah. I mean, the numbers don't lie, right?
Yeah, Brandon, excuse me, Jared was saying, I break down the daily, weekly, and monthly average goal, all broken down from a yearly goal divided by 50 weeks. So he's pretty much right on par of what we're saying, right?
Yeah.
Dent details, showing your prices for a specific job on social media websites does two things. It gives the next customer idea of what to expect. Two, shows the companies what they charge and raise the tide. Perfect. Yes, because that's what we and Joe have been trying to do. Like, I mean, that's what I do. I don't want people to guess how much money a repair costs. I'll give them an
Right.
idea.
Yep.
So I wrote a text today, guys, and so I'm going to have a lot more text stuff. So I'm creating a whole new kind of category of a funnel kind of way to communicate with text messaging, because it's going to be that we're going to come right back to that, Joe, real quick. But this kind of talks about that. Okay.
Okay.
Um, let me go through my thing right here. So, when a customer sends me a photo, Joe, and I don't know what the backside access is like. It's a little bit hard to describe to a client on a text message. And unfortunately, this is the way we're going, right? It already is here. So what I've came up with here is I've come up with several different ones, but I'm going to give one away right now that I have, and you guys can rewind this and copy it for yourself. Do whatever you want. Okay. But when a customer sends me a photo and I have an idea what it looks like on the outside, pretty good idea, but I don't know what it looks like on the inside, right? That's the
Yes.
number one thing, right?
Right.
So I reply like this: Thank you for sending the photos of the damage. Based on what I can see in the photos, I can provide a general estimate for the paintless dent repair. However, please note that this is only an estimate and the final cost may vary depending on the extent of the damage and accessibility of the backside of the dent. Ballpark cost would be between 375 to 450 for both dents. Now, this is just an example, okay? So a qualified PDR technician will be able to provide a more accurate quote once they have the opportunity to assess the damage in person. Please let me know if you have any questions. If you're interested in scheduling for the dent removal service, here's the link to our calendar with current times and dates available. And then there's my link.
Nice.
So I leave it pretty open. Now, sometimes that's a little bit of a longer text, so I can break it in half and I can just send it in 2 parts. But
Right.
that's, something to give my clients to marinate. Now, is it every dent repair I do that? No, it's specifically for the ones that are kind of iffy. I'm not sure. So,
Right.
but I do have different formulas depending on what the text is like,
Yes.
depending on what the dent is like. And sometimes if it's a $500 repair, I'll call the client and get on the phone with them and discuss the repair options. So
you have like a template in
I do.
your
I
notes.
do.
You keep that like in your iPhone notes
I do.
app.
And I just look at which one I think that's going to kind of fit that one. And I go ahead and do that. So text messaging is communication. I want to master that. That is part of my communication thing that, I have the ideas of how to do it. I'm always kind of critiquing and trying to see if I can get it more concise, but sometimes concise isn't the best method because you need to get into detail. I know you're like that, Joe.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, man, I've had to learn to do things a lot more concise, like you said, too, like more brief. I have 2 business lines. I've said it on here before, but one of them it's an app called Sideline. And it's one of my numbers that it only allows a certain amount of text within a message. I'd prefer to get my point across in one message and not 2, so it's less convoluted, but so it's taught me to kind of try and break it down to a minimum. But the other thing too is that I think if if you're dealing with your customer, though, right, as opposed to just a price shopper. I mean, we've talked about this so many times, and I don't think it ever gets old because it's what we all deal with, right? Price shoppers. But I think that there's a certain amount of words you can put, or a link to a video, or like in your case, your link to your website and stuff, Mike. But I believe, like, I had a couple today that reached out to me, and I could tell they were just price shoppers. And I did my best to try and reel them in, or not reel them in. That's a bad choice of words, but to try and convert them, and making them believers. But I know that at least one of these people did not even click the video. Like, I just know it because they just saw the price range and they were gone,
Yeah.
And what I've learned since last year, that was one of my resolutions last year, was to get my head wrapped around like dealing with the price shoppers and the disappointment that I would feel. So I've learned not to get so emotional about it or allow it to get under my skin. We're playing a numbers game, right? And if we have good marketing and you have good structure, which is what we're talking about, that the pricing that you're using on a daily basis is functional for your needs to continue to serve your clients, the kind of clients you want to deal with. And if you know all that is in place, and again, your marketing is right, and you're getting enough leads in, that a certain amount of those are going to just, they're going to, go down the road, and you want them to, because they're not your customer.
Yeah.
But a certain amount are going to realize, they already know they want to deal with you, and so at that point, it's even more important to use that that pricing structure and make sure that you're doing things according to your program,
Yeah.
including if you're taking jobs. I've done this too here recently, Mike, is taking on jobs that are even beyond my pay grade. And though the number attached was high, it also slowed me down. It took me more time to do. So I learned by paying attention to that ticket, that average cost per ticket or price per ticket, I know when I'm in that sweet spot. I hope that
Right.
makes sense.
Right. I agree. It's kind of eye opening, especially when I started doing that, and I was like, whoa, okay, all right, yeah, that makes complete sense here. I see. I've never been told that when I was growing up and doing this, growing up doing
Well,
PDR.
you did grow up doing this.
I did, yeah. I mean, I figured a lot of crap out on my by myself, Joe. I mean, I
Yeah, I know
figured
you
a
did.
lot. Excuse my language. I figured a lot of shit out, dude. Like a lot, dude.
I know you
Okay.
did.
I
Well,
figured out. Let's just name some of the stuff here, ladies and gentlemen. I had to learn by myself, dude. Photoshop. Had to learn editing, how to use a camera, how to shoot photos, how to create websites, how to write blogs, how to copyright. I had to be a marketer, a promoter, just everything. I mean, and honestly, you wear those hats whether you want to or not when you own your business. I'm not talking a PDR business, but if you own a business in today's 2023, you are going to wear that hat once in a while, if not all the time. And if you don't want to wear those hats, you generally have to delegate it or take your chances skipping, not knowing any of that, and just kind of go with the flow. But with just like anything else, you have to know a little about a lot, dude.
right.
So,
Yeah.
and I think that has definitely helped my success. I think if people pay attention here and they try and dabble and stop being afraid of growing, because that's what it is. It's something that people don't like is not because it's not good. It's because they just don't understand it. And that's plain and
Yeah.
simple. You and I get that all the time about our line boards, right? Oh, that thing's a piece of crap. Oh, I
Yeah.
don't know how you guys see anything with that.
We were told that we're not really fixing the dent with the
Yeah.
line.
It goes on and on, but the truth is that they just don't understand it and they just want to talk crap. I mean, we get it, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah, it's
yeah,
fear.
yeah, it's
It's
fear.
fear based, man.
But I think a lot of people have a fear about wanting to learn new things.
Yeah,
So
it's uncomfortable,
I embrace
right?
it. I'm 51 years old, man. I'm looking forward to the future, man. I look forward to man, I'm super techie. I love it, dude. Like I love new tech stuff, dude.
Yes, you do.
But I'm not saying that's what everybody has to do, but man, be passionate about it so you can go a long way in this business, man. If you're not passionate about it and you can't find a way to get passionate about this might not be a long future for you. Or you're just going to be mad and upset and irritated that you're not making the money you want. So, I mean, I just hope that this podcast helps people just kind of put some fire under their butt and kind of giving some insight on that.
I think it does, Mike. I think you've always been really good at being an early adopter of tech, but also I mean, it wasn't just because you're a tech guy, but because I think you genuinely wanted to communicate the value of PDR way back when, dude, before you know before any of us knew how to upload videos, and that was that's how I first learned about you, quite frankly, and I know everybody else too. Like, was you introducing PDR? You made PDR look good through your videos and the way you spoke about it and the way you presented it, and you've always been good at that. And I that's why I signed up with Dent Time Show. That's why I would be. I followed you because I thought, this guy is doing it right. And, so you opened a lot of doors for a lot of us to learn this stuff. And I think you're continuing to do that. And I hope I can help out, and support that. That's why I'm here.
Yeah, appreciate that, Joe. I'm not good at taking compliments, but because I don't want people to think that we're patting ourselves on our back, but thank you, appreciate that. I really do. I appreciate your friendship openly on this podcast. If you guys don't know Joe personally, man, he's just a genuine dude, man. So I'm sure that's why you guys watch, is because you're seeing some genuine, conversations here. So
Thanks, Mike.
um, all I care about I do want to help the industry. I don't want to go to the top by myself. It is true what they say though, Joe. It's lonely at the top, dude, because you can't talk to anybody. You know what I mean? It's like, but people think that, there's a lot of different perceptions about things like that. But that's a different subject here. I'm just trying to think about and talk about the price structure here, and the main reason why is just to kind of give a different look about your company, right?
Yeah.
And some people don't want to face it. Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes when you kind of have a gut feeling that you ain't doing well enough, that you should, how you should be doing, it's almost like you don't want to know, right? You don't want to like calculate anything. And I get that. I mean,
Yeah.
but you will have to if you want your business to grow and survive.
Well, if nothing else, knowing those numbers and knowing that you have a system, it gives me confidence, whereas when, because it's real easy too, Mike, where when you're super busy and you're just trying to, keep up on the treadmill, you're, at the end of the month, the number is really high, but you're not paying attention to just how hard you're working, and then the worst part for me was when I was doing a lot of wholesale, and man, we were doing like it in 1 week. I was doing the same amount of cars I'm doing in one whole month now, right? And the number at the end of the month was awesome. I'm not going to lie, but you know what? I was in constant fear because I was so busy pushing dents that I wasn't paying attention to the numbers. I wasn't paying attention to structure and recognizing that, hey, because now what I can do is I can project by knowing those numbers, even though they're not the big numbers that some guys are making. I can project, okay, next month I can count on X amount if I keep doing, putting the little ducks in a row, like I'm doing. And so I feel more at peace, which is, I think,
That's what I'm
us
trying to say. If
old
you
timers,
know,
we need to find peace wherever we can get it.
yeah, you feel much more better about yourself when you know exactly where the hell your company's going, dude. Like
Yeah.
when you know what tomorrow's like. You like when you're looking forward to tomorrow in the
Right.
future and the next day. But when you don't have a strategy, you don't know what to expect for tomorrow. You don't know. I mean, if you it's scary, man. Because I'm not going to be the bad scenario stuff, but shit happens, man. Like, and the more
Yeah.
prepared you can be about, I get scared about that sometimes, man. The only thing I'm freaking, that scares me is, and that's why it hits me at home, is like, Robert Castillo's, right, and Mike Biggs, and I want to just, I just feel like we're very fortunate, you know what I mean, in this business, and these guys have been fortunate, and when they go down, dude, like I feel guilty, dude. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I feel really, really guilty that I can't do enough to help, right? And this podcast, me putting a shout out in the beginning, big
Well,
deal, dude. That's not freaking helping, dude. Like, I put a freaking, but I just feel very fortunate, and I
well,
know if you think like that, you guys all do too. So
you're relating, Mike, and you're using your platform to raise awareness of these gentlemen. I did know about Robert Castillo, and because I watched the Ginger Brothers last week, and he was on there, and you guys can go check that out on I think they're on Facebook and YouTube, the Ginger Brothers show, and he was very man. He sounds like a really good guy. I've never met Robert, but I think and then maybe maybe we ought to have Mr. Biggs on here, or at some point, or
he won't come on, dude.
no.
He's a very humble, very modest guy,
Yeah,
dude. But anyways, yeah,
yeah.
if
But
I
we got to look
could,
out for our brothers.
yeah,
We
we do,
definitely do, and I
we do.
appreciate you doing that, Mike.
Yeah. Um, So, I mean, look. Oh, by the way, I do want to give another shout out about Dent time. I'm Dent Trainer. So, if you guys like these type of podcasts, but you want more breakdown replies, thorough text messages. This formula will be on Dent Trainer as well. So if you want to copy it, figure out your own stuff, it will be on here. I'll have it up within a couple days, and the new text messages for you to watch, to copy and use for your own clients. They're very good, very well thought out, written text messages that you guys can use as a template. So if you're a Dent Trainer member, it'll be in there included. If you're not, you want to just borrow that, you will as well. So just want to give a shout out. So check out denttrainer.com.
Right on, Mike.
Joe, I heard through the grapevine, dude. I'll put you on the spot, dude. I heard through the grapevine, dude. You might be coming on the Dent Trainer one day, dude.
Yeah, one of these days, man. One of these days. I think I was already on there, wasn't I?
Yeah, but you weren't on there officially, dude. You know what I mean? Taking
All right.
crap apart, doing stuff in the driveways, dude. Just do it, getting it done, dude. What's up, Jack? What's up, Dent Zero, Bobby,
Jack Bucknell,
RPM, and dude, everybody's on here, dude. So congratulations, man. Thank you very much for
Eldar, Cole Fox, even our UK brothers. Graham, Dent Detail PDR.
Yeah, Australia, UK.
Martin was on there from Dent Remover.
Jack, I can't wait to check out the text templates. Cool. Yeah, dude. Oh, dude, you're gonna like it, man. You're gonna like it. So yeah, man. I think that just covers it for me. Is there anything you want to add, dude?
No, man. I mean, I was trying to think. I was going to say something about as
we
far
don't
as
always have to go an hour, man. We just freaking, we say our things.
It's all good, man. I think what I was going to get into is, kind of what I mentioned about how when I used to be really busy pushing dents, and I almost like I didn't feel like I had time to crunch numbers, other than the number at the end of the month, but like to slow those estimates down and price them with a pricing guide. And obviously it's hard to do when you're really super busy. So I can get it if anyone's watching this and like saying, no, man, I can't do it that way. Or I'm never going to use a price guide because I won't be able to keep up. But I think using a price guide is the next step to getting a really good structure. And then so that you can, think about it. If you're pricing every repair that comes across your, comes in front of you with a pricing guide, and if you get your marketing together to where you're getting the right kind of callers, and I'm not talking about people with Ferraris or, just fancy cars. It's just people who have a dent on their car. It bothers them enough that they want to pay somebody to fix it, and, it's going to be a certain, depending on what you're offering, in my case, I try to offer like a VIP service, like just as good as it can be done. And I have found that lends itself very well to the person who is meticulous about their car. I can't imagine somebody just wanting a half-ass repair done on their dent, but apparently they're out there because they're shopping for a low price. We got to let go of those guys. We got to allow room on our schedule for the people who value what we do. The price guide helps. And then, of course, like Mike, you said, understanding your average cost per job and understanding in relation to your expenses and how much you want to grow this year.
Yeah. Yeah, I agreed. I think it's really important. It's early enough, right? In this year, just started. Now's the time to really open up write down that formula, go back and rewatch this when this is done, and kind of see where you land. You know what I mean?
That's right. That's right.
And then that will give you a good base about, okay, I do need to raise my price, or I don't, or I'm good. I was sitting pretty good. I just got lucky. I don't know. You know what I mean? So, I mean, those prices, that kind of baseline was just an example. It's all for an example, except for the formula. The formula will work if you plug in any numbers you want to that. So,
yeah.
Do
you know your average?
Do you know what's my average job?
Yeah, your average cost per ticket.
Yeah, I think I just looked the other day. Let me look here. Actually, I think I wrote it down here.
It's okay if you don't have it.
291.71, dude.
All right. You think you're on the high mark in San Diego?
I don't know, Joe. Honestly, I don't check my competition, so I
Yeah,
don't know.
that's good. That's smart.
I
I
mean,
mean,
that's
smart.
an average, like taking average ticket, not including insurance. So, I did actually that does not include like the big insurance smashes, dude. So
Okay.
that's just my normal John
Yeah.
retail stuff,
The
dude.
kind of
You know
the
what I mean?
kind of stuff you want to do, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
because you've mentioned before to me, and we're always very candid with each other. Like you mentioned, like your wheelhouse. You know that like smashes a lot of times they're for you. You mentioned that they're just too time consuming in relation to the dollar amount that you get. And if you're getting good tickets, and regular of the kind of jobs you want to do, even if it's a lower number, it's still, and you're getting the volume, and again, that goes back to you dial it in. That's just another way to dialing in your business to how you want to do it.
Let's put it this way, folks. You guys can make 200, 300,000. You can do that. But you don't do it by luck. Let's put it that way. Okay. You don't do it by not working hard, putting a little money back into your business, being consistent, creating videos that educate clients, you know, putting I put I'm going to tell you right now, Joe, and tell you the public right here, my income has gone up at least 15% since I decided to put uh, numbers on my post, like
The
what it
pricing.
cost, a general cost,
Yeah.
because my tickets are higher now because I'm getting much better clients.
Yes.
So I'm not getting the I'm not fighting as much. I don't hardly fight at all, dude. With not fight, I don't have a debate, or I don't have to explain why the quality or the value of my service is important to them. It's very rare I have to. They're ready to go. They
Yes.
like it.
Yeah, that's
It's
good.
because of how I've been educating them. And you and I, we started this. You actually influenced me, right? You said, "Don't do that, Mike. You're gonna maybe lose your customers." I
I
wouldn't
no,
do
I
that.
felt like you had more to lose than I did. I was pretty much throwing a Hail Mary pass because I couldn't do it any other way. And but I'm just one guy, Mike. I had to let go of a guy that was working with me when we were doing wholesale, but that was after the fact. But I didn't want you to risk, your little empire that you built, but you did. And so kudos to you, man.
We've been keeping this stuff in the background too long, dude. It's kind
Yeah.
of like saying, you've been in there, and Sean. Unfortunately, Joe will not be there. Just
Oh,
myself.
yeah,
By
yeah.
the way, I will be speaking Thursday at 3 o'clock on how to create professional, quick videos, and give you tips on how you can get them to go viral, dude. Okay, so don't miss it. We're gonna break it down, and you can get, if you're already a Dent trainer member, you can see some of that really deep, in depth, kind of step by step already on Dent Trainer. But I'll be there in person. Some things have changed and stuff like that, so we'll be there. So sorry, Joe, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
No, it's all
So
good, man. All good.
Dent Zero says made 110 $1,100 today, guys. Thanks to Mike video again. So, dude, awesome, Bobby. Thank you. Appreciate
Right
that,
on,
man.
Bobby.
Okay. Which video are you talking about, though? I'm not sure which one you're referring to, though, but I'd like to know. Thank you. Jack, I could not imagine removing a customer's door in their driveway, but also it's nice there. We have around 18 inches of snow right now. I can't wait for the MTE weather. Good. Yeah,
My
Jack. Remember last year it was
goodness.
freezing. It was freaking cold last year, dude. Like 40 degrees, dude, at MTE, dude.
Oh,
So
man.
hopefully it
Yeah.
won't be like that again, Jack.
Well, Jack's
I have to
probably
check
like
on.
Sub-Zero where he's at.
I have to check on my average per ticket job. Very interesting. Okay, cool. Yeah, it is interesting. Jack, I think you came in towards the end, so I highly recommend you rewatch this, dude, and you'll get an idea of how we broke it down, and then check out your average ticket, because we break it down pretty well here, so it'll make a little more sense to you.
I think
Um,
I think the gist of what this particular episode has been about, Mike, is just running your program like a real business, and again, we
yeah.
come, yeah, it's a novel concept to us, a lot of us, because we, personally came from humble beginnings in this, and I was a kid practically when I started doing PDR, and I was the guy who just said, "Oh yeah, it's cheaper than the body shop." It's it seemed like an easy sell,
Me
and
too. Me too.
and I was wrong. I was wrong.
I
You know,
I because I can't get like I want to say like really. Unfortunately, I wish this wasn't so public, in a way, because I do have clients that will watch my podcast,
mhm.
but this is a real like I remember talking to who was I was talking to, man, and Dave Shalott, right? And Dave says it like with passion, dude. He could, fellas,
Yeah,
this is a real this is a real business, dude. Hold
yeah.
on a second, dude. Hold on. I think I got a package, dude. Hold on a second.
It's a real business, as Mike was saying, and we have to, like, Mike and I have talked in the past about like us having like low self-esteems as an industry. PDR is like we were always like the little brother, the little step brother of the auto body industry, which auto collision being the right way to fix things. I mean, that's how they used to talk to us or see us, was like subpar. And some of us were subpar, but you know, I think we've brought it to a whole new level where we can fix repairs, dents to a factory spec level like it never happened. I mean, that is tremendously valuable. So why not have a system that we can continue to build on that and sustain? As soon as I was charging the right kind of pricing and the right structure, it made me very consistently good at doing really high grade work for the people who want that.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Denzio, I'm not sure if I'm sure you probably are, but if there's a lot of other deep dives too as well with PDR, PDR College. There's a
Yeah,
lot of good stuff there too as well. So
absolutely.
I recommend checking out their old school podcasts and stuff. Um, yeah, I think that's good, Joe. I think we're wrapped up. I have a lot of other things. We have a lot of cool future topics to talk about in the future on this platform. And one other thing too, starting sometime next week, I'm going to put a date down, but Dent Trainer will have a podcast very similar to this, but strictly about tools, the usage, some videos, some tech tips, some tutorials, and some giveaways on there. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be pretty cool, and I think you guys are going to learn a lot there as well. So we're going to make that more geared towards that. So,
Right on.
any last thoughts? Any last words, Joe?
Nope, that's it. I think we covered it.
Well, I'll be a flea on a hound dog, man. I think this was good. So, one last thing, don't forget about the MTE raffle from Anson. And I think it's just going to be a big old contribution, over $30,000 worth of tools giveaway. So it's $25 to enter. You get if you put $100 in, you get 5 chances to win. So please think about that. It's cash only, or you can send a Visa debit card. For more information, check out ansonpdr.com. Get in hold of Craig or Christina or Cowboy Vinny over there. So there you guys go. All right.
I'll be sure to do that, Mike.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for again tuning in. I hope you guys found this interesting. Let us know what you think. Maybe you're watching from YouTube, later on from the Facebook comments and whatnot. Let us know what you thought about this podcast. Would you like to see more of this type of breakdowns in the future? I appreciate you guys watching.